Let me ask you a question. Can you imagine how good it would be if you could control Tonex One via MIDI? And not only switch presets, but also turn effects on and off. And could you imagine how amazing it would be if it had a fully functional touch screen that let you control every aspect of each of your presets? And then an app that let you deep dive into the mechanics of the thing? Well, I might have just the thing for you. Well, this is it. This is the window to the best Tonex experience you are ever going to have. This is what should have been in the big Tonex in the first place. I can't help thinking that. But let's get into it and find out what it is. It comes from a company called Pirate MIDI. It's called the Polar Max, and they've got a range of these things, and this one is the flagship. So here it is. I've just turned it on, and you can see it runs with just a normal power supply. And then out the side, I've attached already a little USB lead. Now that USB lead is for your Tonex, and that connects you to your Tonex. So straight into the bottom of your Tonex, like that, and it will power your Tonex for you. So all the power you need for your Tonex is in that little box. Okay. Now you never have to touch your Tonex pedal again, because on here you've got control for absolutely everything. Okay, so it even shows you your BPM, it shows you what preset you're on, the bank you're on. You've got a picture there of an amplifier. That's actually the same skins that you can get on the Tonex app on your computer. So you can match them up and get it to change the skin to suit the one that you want or that you like. I haven't done that. I've left that alone, but that's fine. In that box there, you can write a description of the sound that you've got. I haven't really done that. I've got one that says description, but that's that. Then you may have noticed already that the little arrows either side let you change preset, but the buttons, the foot switches, which are programmable, are by default set to let you do that. Okay. Then along the bottom here, you've got all these little icons. You can turn on and off pretty much anything you like within Tonex. That first one there is your noise gate, so you can touch that and turn that back off and back on again. Then that one there is our compressor, amplifier, cab, EQ. That one's your modulation, delay, reverb, and then we go into settings, and this is where it gets really interesting, because as soon as you go into settings, along the top there, it shows you all the things that you can change the settings of. So straight away, we're in gate. That's the first thing. And it gives you all the parameters there for your noise gate. Compressor, amp, EQ, modulation, delay, reverb, and your cab. Okay, so you've got an awful lot there that you can adjust. Everything within the Tonex that's going to affect that sound, you can adjust from there. Okay, how cool is that? Then when you're done editing, you just press that and you're back to where you were. Now, as far as MIDI controllers are concerned, you can have a wired MIDI controller going into it. So that could be something like a MIDI Captain that I use when I'm live. You could use a Helix, that would work. You can use MIDI from that. Your HX Stomp can control it, or you can even use the Chocolate Plus. Let's have a look at that. All I have to do is turn the Chocolate on. And did you see that light up there? That little Bluetooth symbol? That means that is connected to that via Bluetooth. So I can change my sounds via Bluetooth. There we go. How cool is that? I can also use a wired connection from here into there. It's just a standard 3.5mm jack to jack into there, and I'm controlling this via MIDI from here, but wired, not Bluetooth if you're worried about Bluetooth. So that's a plus. The other thing I can do as well is I can control effects. So I've set up another bank on here that lets me control my effects. Look at the modulation. I can turn my modulations on. I'm actually switching between them. Can you see how the little letter's changing? Flanger, rotary, tremolo. How cool is that? And then if I want to turn the effects off, I just turn them off. Hit that and I'm back to changing presets. All of those sounds were modulation. I could, if I'd liked, set up a separate bank on the Chocolate to control delays. I could have one controlling compression, etc., etc. But I think that's for a separate Chocolate video. Now, just in case that's not enough for you, there's also a mobile phone app. And the app lets you control everything that this lets you control, and you can get to a few extra parameters that are more broad control, if you like. So for instance, all of your MIDI setup is in here, and your Bluetooth setups. External things like foot switches can be controlled from the app as well. But look, anything in the app that you change edits what happens on the device and on your Tonex in real time. So look, let's turn the modulation on. Just enable, and can you see the modulation going on and off? Those three indicators there show you what's connected. So Wi-Fi, which is your phone connected by Wi-Fi, the Chocolate connected by Bluetooth, and then your USB to connect you to your Tonex. They give you a handy little protective screen which just sits on top of there like that. I didn't put it on because it makes it a bit awkward for filming, but that goes on there and that sticks as well, so that protects your screen from any scratches and bumps and things like that. You know what? That is just a game changer. Imagine if that had been the Tonex itself. How good would it be to have a few MIDI buttons, your screen and the Tonex there? Yeah, I like it. Right, as I'm editing this and I've shot everything, it's all done and I'm not doing it again, I find out that Greg Smith, who's the genius behind all the software, has done a beta firmware update. Now, from what I can gather, the Tonex One version hasn't really changed much. There's a few subtle differences and a few subtle improvements, but the big difference seems to be that it's now going to support the full big Tonex, okay? So that's the main differences, but you know what? It's still brilliant, and it's going to be a little bit more brilliant, and it doesn't make the video less relevant. Everything I've showed you is still there. So there you go. This video is, by the way, sponsored by Pirate MIDI, who sent me the controller. They're not paying me, but they did send me the controller. So thanks to them for that. I'm really, really impressed with it. If you go on Amazon, you can find links for other bits and pieces that are in here. And I'll put a link to the Pirate MIDI website as well. Okay, so don't forget, like and subscribe, and if you've got the hype button in your region, then press that for me as well, and that really helps. And I'll see you in another video. Cheers!